Hey, YouTube land, how you doing? Been a long time since I seen y'all. Um, been really busy, man, and did a lot of things on the layout. Got some stuff done. Got it done the hard way, unfortunately, but I'm all good, and we are ready to rock and start making some more videos. So I apologize for like being absent, but here I am. So today we are going to talk about wiring frogs with Walthers turnouts. I haven't seen any videos on this. I used a forum, excuse me, and found out how to do it, and I did it. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. It may be a little intimidating at first, but trust me, it works, and I'm going to show you how. So some of the things we've been going on around here. Got my city planned out, and I got wiring all done on the track, and we hired a head of security for the Black Rock and Mohawk Railroad, and his name is Thor Thunderfoot. Here he is. He's totally cool with being in total security of the yard, and I pity the fool who tries to mess around with any stealing on our yard. So good luck. There he is. All right. So without much further ado, we're going to talk about frogs. So here we go. So here we go. Wiring for powering your frogs on turnouts. Sounds a little intimidating. If you mess it up, you can do some damage. Trust me. And if you have Walthers Switch machines or thinking about buying them, their manual talks about wiring frogs, but they don't actually tell you how to do it. So, being old and a complete klutz who hates soldering, has shaky hands, ADD, left handed, and aches all over, I refuse to be intimidated by all the tiny stuff you have to do in this hobby. So, if I can do this, I promise you, you can. All right, so let's go. Let's start with what you need. You need a multimeter or a continuity tester, but I would strongly suggest if you don't have a multimeter to get one. Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot. It really is very helpful. Wire, most people, and I did the same thing, do red and black, and another color for the frog wires. Okay, green would be good if you're going to buy some wire because it's a frog. Hello, I'm using purple just because I got it. But so this way you can keep you know what the wires are and don't use all the same color. And for me, I bought these connectors. They're 0.11 inch red female insulated spade wires. They're on Amazon. They're real small. If you've got some little, spade connectors from automotive work, they're not going to work here because these are really small. So this is what you need to start with. Okay. So I would suggest to wire the frog before you install on the turnout. And that's just me, but I did it on most of them, and the one I didn't do, which was a far reach, I was trying to do it on the back rail so it wouldn't show. I had an Atlas custom line and heated the frog with the soldering iron, and it melted the plastic and it curled up. And bottom line is I had to replace it. I didn't have one. I had to order one, get one, and that was absolutely no fun. So here's what you need to do to start. Grab a pen and a paper, okay? And number your turnouts and look at each turnout and what rail. I wired it this way with the red line closest to me and the black line furthest away. Okay, you can do it however you want. But I'm just saying in these illustrations that's how I did it. So if it's on the far track, which is black, right? Like number one turnout, far black. Or if it's touching the rail near you, then it is red, near red. And I'll show you. That's exactly how I did it down. 7 turnouts. Wrote it down. Double checked myself after I wrote it down, and then went to work with the turnouts. Right, far black, close red, whatever yours is. Write it down. So here's a micro switch. This micro switch is on the Walthers turnouts. Okay. So on each side, there's one. They're exactly the same. They have the C at the bottom. C is the common, and that is the one that you attach the wire that goes to the frog. Okay? And there's NC and NO. Real simple. Both sides say the same thing. So here's what you got to do. There's no power going to them. You're supplying the power between the NC and the NO. So choose which side is best, what's easiest to get to. It doesn't matter. And use your multimeter or continuity tester. And you put one probe on the C, go to NO, see if there's continuity, and go to NC and see if there's continuity. Only one of those is going to have continuity. And that is the wire, that is the terminal that you're going to put the wire on that matched what you wrote down. So commonly you have a green wire. So you go from that to NO. If there's continuity, great. And if it's that close one next to if it's the one that's red, you put the red wire there. You put the black wire on the other side. If it's C and NC, and you're on the red wire line, then you put the red up there and put the black on the NO. It's that simple. Done. Okay. If there's no continuity between any of them, then you got a wiring problem. Okay. So, like I said, if there's connectivity between C and NC, the throw rail that is against that close rail, in this case, run a red wire to it and to NC and black to NO. And I will tell you that these switches would be different in each side. In other words, if the NO on the way this switch machine is shown here is NO is what works here. On the other side, it'll be NC. It's just because of the way the switch goes back and forth. So if you had to move them to the other side, don't just wire it the same way. It'll be a little bit different. Okay? Green to the frog, power pack, bus terminals. Bus terminals are where you split off on the smaller wires to go wire your track, right? That's the terminal you use. And these are the connectors that I bought on Amazon. $5.69 for 100 of them. Can't beat it, right? Now at the bottom there, you'll see there is a line you can maybe copy and paste. If you use that description, it is a very small connector, but it works great. It slides right on those. It's a little hard to get on, but no big deal. Put those on your wires, slip it right on. And another thing is, if you make a mistake, this makes it easier to fix it. Okay. So after you've done all this, you've wired up the switch. Before you run a train, go up there and go from the frog to the rail that throw rail is on. And there should be connectivity. If there's not, and there's on the other rail, you screwed it up. And I did this on one. So double check yourself by just simply going up, putting your meter on the frog and the wire you thought you hooked up. And if you've got connectivity, you're good. But if you don't, and it's on the other one, and go back down there and you can just easily pull those off and put them back on again. So it's pretty easy. Like I said, the other side's a little different, but it's just because the switch goes back and forth. And so when it's on the right hand side or the left hand side, for example, the button is pushed in on the back. and on the other side it only goes when it's on the other side of it. So it just changes that. Like I said, there's no power going to it. You're supplying the power to it, so it's pretty easy. Okay. So if you're new to the hobby, returning back like me, some of this is daunting, but you can do it. You can use a continuity tester, but again, highly recommend a multimeter because you can test things like DC voltage. And you can't always trust what's on a power pack, what is actually there. The multimeters aren't that expensive and you'll use it a lot. For example, I have a DC voltage off a power pack to LED lighting. I have a power pack that puts out 20 volts DC, but the LEDs are only 15 volts DC. So if you hook them up, and I tried it just to see what would happen, and the LED gets super hot real quick. So don't do that. It'll burn them out, or you could possibly even start a fire with them. So make sure what the voltage is on the LEDs. Make sure you know what's coming out of the meter, and just because it says one thing doesn't mean that. And always. So it's a real powerful tool. So that is it for now. So I hope this video helped you out. You can save it and come back to it when you get ready to do this. And please give us a thumbs up and a subscribe. Have a great time, man. Bye.